Hey guys, it's Aiden back here from No More Excuses, and today I'll be presenting part 2 of our meal delivery series, Is It Worth It? And today I've got Derrimut Meals Direct in the firing line. The market for pre-packaged, healthy, meal prep type meals has already been monopolised by a number of big brands such as U-Foods that we saw Dylan present in the last video. However, Derrimut Meals Direct believe that there's still another seat to be had at that table and that seat has their name written all over it. But do they deserve that seat? In this video, we're going to be taking a quick dive in and having a look. But before I do that, I do want to put a disclaimer out there in case the video does seem a little biased. Derrimut Meals Direct is a branch under Derrimut Gym, and Derrimut Gym was actually my previous employer. I was a part of their warehouse team for almost 2 years, so I have had a bit of an inside look as to its operations and how it works. But enough rambling on, let's just get into it. Derrimut Meals Direct is a branch under a much bigger tree, as they are owned and operated by the team at Derrimut Gym located in Victoria. Derrimut Gym already has a strong grip on the fitness scene here in Victoria and in South Australia, with a number of all-inclusive gym locations, and the meals I'm reviewing today have been packing out their fridges for the last couple of years. After initially launching under the branch of their in-house supplement line UPS under the title UPS Meals, in 2020 they rebranded with the fresh new look and title that we see on the packaging today. The website is simple and straight to the point. The meal box tab lets you view all of the delivery options, whether you prefer it fresh or frozen, in an order of 12 or 20 meals, or whether you'd like a weekly or fortnightly subscription. Once you've selected your order, after verifying your postcode and adding your chosen pack to the cart, you can go through and customize your order and pick out how many you want of each meal until you reach your 12 or 20 meal limit. Victoria and South Australian customers receive their orders on a Thursday, and New South Wales customers on a Friday, all via a third-party delivery service. I had a good experience with the delivery service. I received text message notifications as to when to expect my order, and the courier takes a photo of the box as proof of delivery, and that's all conveyed to you via email, whether you're home at the time or not. The box was neatly packed with the meals sitting inside an insulated bag with 2 generously sized ice bricks, all which had the old branding printed on them, but I won't be taking points away for that because it still gets the job done. I took the time to film the following clips to show off what I ordered for the review. For $99, I received 12 meals, delivered fresh, and I chose the following meals: Basil Pesto Penne chicken, beef lasagna, butter chicken, chicken with broccoli, chicken with sweet potato, chicken and white rice, a chicken parma, chicken with mashed potato, peas and gravy, a honey mustard chicken with brown rice, a Napolitana chicken with penne, spaghetti bolognese, and a steak on the plate with chimichurri sauce. I chose to start off this review with the chicken and sweet potato meal, coming in at 349 calories with 46.8 grams of protein, 23.6 grams of carbs, and 6.2 grams of fat, and only 2 minutes required in my superior 1200 watt microwave. Sucked in, Dylan. This meal was on the blander side in comparison to a lot of the meals we're going to see shortly, but this doesn't faze me personally. It was literally just chicken coated in Cajun spice, which was great, and a moderate serving of the sweet potato, which left a little to be desired, but I ended up topping this off with a bit of barbecue sauce to combine it better, and it still turned out pretty good. The following meal I chose the Napolitana chicken and penne. This meal contains 320 calories with 42.7 grams of protein, 22.2 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of fats. And this meal went down really well. The sauce combines the pulled chicken breast really well with the pasta, and while it's quite simple, this was one of my favourites. The next meal after that was the chicken and broccoli, stacking up at a modest 249 calories with 43.7 grams of protein, 1.9 grams of carbs, and 5.6 grams of fat. This meal contested the chicken and sweet potato for the most simple meal in the lineup: chicken with Cajun spices and steamed broccoli. I would rate this meal higher, as the water from the broccoli helped this meal feel a little bit softer and easier to eat, although I still added a small amount of barbecue sauce for taste. The portion size was enough to keep you satisfied, so this one was another success in my books. The beef lasagna was a great tasting meal. The appearance after going through the microwave didn't look very pleasant. However, 1, the taste is more important, and 2, I was a bit rough with it prior to cooking. The mince was cooked well and wasn't dry, and even had some veggies mixed in it in between the lasagna sheets, and the sauce again tied it in really well. This meal came in at a much heavier 571 calories, with 39.4 grams of protein, 50.2 grams of carbs, and 22.4 grams of fats. I washed this one down with a quick protein smoothie that I made up, and this one kept me full for quite a while. The chicken and white rice meal was another example of simple things being done right. The chicken was as expected from the other meals, but being the first rice meal in the lineup, I wasn't disappointed. It wasn't clunky like the way I usually make it at home, so I was happy to eat this one. This meal came in at 476 calories, with 47.9 grams of protein, 54.8 grams of carbs, and 6.2 in fat. Sauces are always an option for those who can't work with plain white rice, but it still does well by itself. The chicken with mashed potatoes, peas and gravy was a lot lighter than you'd think. Even with all the elements of a typical roast dinner, this only contained 268 calories, spread out nicely with 33 grams of protein, 18.5 grams of carbs, and 5.6 grams of fat. The gravy was a little watery, but still had great taste and really blended across the entire meal. The mash itself was a little dry, but that was quickly mixed with the gravy and it started doing its thing. The peas were cooked well, and the chicken provided the same solid performance, just like every other meal we've reviewed so far. Those who know me know that I'm a bit of a basic bitch when it comes to trying new food, so adding butter chicken to my order was a sign of me going out on a limb, and I'm honestly glad that I did. Again, the chicken was great, and the sauce was very generous and mixed in well with the brown rice. This meal contains 29.5 grams of protein, 61.7 grams of carbs, and 9.2 grams of fat, combining to a total of 464 calories. So if you're a fan of the Indian cuisine, I definitely suggest adding this one to your order. The honey mustard chicken and brown rice meal follows the same blueprint as a few of the other meals. Chicken, rice, just a different sauce. But I had no issues with this meal, as again the chicken was just right. The rice was cooked better than anything I could do, and the sauce was generous enough to cover the entire meal adequately. This meal came in at 452 calories, with 39.5 grams of protein, 26.8 grams of carbs, and 19.9 grams of fat, along with one big thumbs up from me. The next meal was the steak on a plate with chimichurri sauce. The only steak-based dish that I selected went down really well. I'm not too familiar with chimichurri sauce, but I did like the taste of it. However, the sauce wasn't as generous as the sauces in other meals, but I felt like it didn't really need to be, as the serving that I got was still quite appropriate. The steak was presented in thin, easy to cut slices, and again, no problems with the rice. The one interesting thing that I found with this meal, from a website point of view, the meal wasn't visible on the opening menu part of the site, and I could only find it while selecting the meals for my order. With this, the macros aren't available on the site from what I could see. All I could salvage from the footage in post was that it came to 564 calories in total. I'd expect it to be a higher protein carb meal with lower fats, but it still gets the thumbs up from yours truly. The Basil Pesto Penne chicken was another hit in my books. Again, a simple pasta, chicken and sauce. The last time I tried this meal, the sauce was a bit too generous and overpowering, but this time around I found a happy medium. It was just enough to be able to mix through the entire meal and combine it well. Nothing too dry, and it was easy to eat. This 468 calorie meal consisted of 28.9 grams of protein, 44.6 grams of carbs, and 25.1 grams of fat. Now I thought I was going to be saving the best for last with the chicken parma, and yes, it's pronounced parma, don't start with me. But one important element was disappointing me. I was expecting the one big piece of chicken breast, but instead I was presented with the multiple smaller pieces just like every other meal, bunched together and topped with the sauce. Looking at it from a convenience angle, it does make sense though, as it saves having to use a knife to cut everything up, which really is the entire point of having these kinds of meals. To be convenient and easy to deal with while still being tasty. And this meal hit those goals still quite easily. So it's still getting the positive rating from me. Served with a side of sweet potato and peas, it closely resembled your traditional pub meal without all the added calories. Speaking of, this meal came in with 394 of them, with 38.5 grams of protein, 15.6 grams of carbs, and 18.6 grams of fat. Now the meal that I am saving until last, mainly because all the footage shit itself and I've got nothing to show you, was the spaghetti bolognese. Blows my socks off every time I've tried it. The spaghetti itself, perfect. plenty of sauce, and even that tasted amazing as well. Mixed with a bit of the zucchini, carrot, and celery, it's the closest you're ever going to get from Mum's cooking. This came in at 413 calories, with 34 grams of protein, 27.8 grams of carbs, and 17.4 grams of fat. To summarise my experience with Derrimut Meals Direct, and to answer the burning question, is it worth it? I'm giving it a yes, easily. And that's even with me taking all the obvious bias out of the question. I'm a big fan of quick, simple meals that take 2 or 3 minutes to cook, another 2 to 3 minutes to eat, and meals that have minimal ingredients so you know that it's not filled with pointless bullshit that you don't need. But if you still prefer more complex and exciting looking meals, you can pick differently from what I did to complete your order. I only picked 12 out of the at least 30 different options available, and I didn't even touch the desserts or the drink options that are available either. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'll place a link to the website in the description. There's no code or anything available, as this wasn't a sponsored video. This is just me showing you that even people that are time poor can still find cheap and clean meals to have. So make sure to like and subscribe to help Dylan and I out with the channel, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.